Good evening and welcome to another episode of Technique Talk here on the Technique Lab YouTube channel. I'm your host, Coach David Riley, and I am just so happy for you to have joined us on this or wrap-up of the 9 days of competition, the discussion really on the 9 days of competition over there in Budapest, Hungary. We're talking about the World Athletics Championships in athletics, and that was going on for the past 9 days. The superheroes of athletics were on show, and what a championships it was. It was just non-stop drama and competition, and intense competition, rivalries, and a showcase of speed, endurance, power, strength, and mental toughness. That actually was on display there in Budapest. Lots of instances where athletes just had to dig in, and dig in they had to do. Not for the weak, it wasn't for the weak, and it wasn't for the coward. You had to be rather strong and brave, making sure that you were able to deliver your best performance. And how we lived the moments with the athletes, the ups and downs, and we too were also engaged emotionally in this quest that they were on for glory. And indeed, lots of cash was on offer as well. First place in individual events, 70,000 US dollars. Second place with 35,000. Third place 22,000. Fourth place 16,000. Then 11,000, 7,000, 6,000, and eighth place got $5,000 for individual events. In the relays, it was $80,000 for first place, $40,000 for second, 20 for third, 16 for fourth, 12, 8, 6, $4,000 for the eighth place relay team. And that was how the funds were distributed. Lots of millions of dollars being distributed as cash prizes along with the medals to the winners in the various events. And the championships, we heard so many times, was one where the favorites don't always win. And that, of course, was our experience today on the final day. The favorites for the 4x4 women, Team Jamaica, didn't win. But amidst all the ups and the downs, 2023 World Championships was successful for Team Jamaica. There is no doubt about that. We left with 12 medals, 3 golds, 5 silver, and 4 bronze. The second highest number of medals earned by any nation. And of course, this is an improvement from last year's championships, where we ended up with 10 medals, 2 golds, 7 silver, and a bronze medal. We finished third on the medal table. In this case, we were fourth on the table based on the quality of medals. USA won, of course, with 12 gold, 8 silver, and 9 bronze medals, a total of 29 medals. And indeed, USA is the powerhouse in track and field. Jamaica is edging in that direction, and we did very well considering the various challenges that we had and some of the things that happened within the team. But of course, it was a very strong performance by any measure. Germany did not earn a medal in the championships. I mean, I was shocked. The last opportunity they had was a javelin men finals on day number 9, and Germany has left Budapest without a medal. And Jamaicans are complaining about getting a silver medal instead of a gold medal. Anyway, on the points table, USA dominated the championships on the points table. And of course, the points table is used to determine or to give out the team championship trophy. And USA topped the table there with 277 points. Jamaica was second. We defended our silver plaque with 139 points ahead of Kenya, 112. The Kenyans were just, clawing their way back into contention for this. But of course, we're able to hold on with the performance of the last 2 events of the championships, the 2 relays, to hold on to that silver plaque. And of course, this is an improvement on the number of points that we scored. In the 2022 championships, we scored 110 points and finished second there. And just to give you an idea of how good the medal tally was for Jamaica, in Doha, we left with 12 medals. Beijing, and Doha was 2019, Beijing in 2015, we left with 12 medals, 7 gold, 2 silver, and 3 bronze. Daegu, 2011, we left with 9 medals. And our best medal performance at the World Championships was in Berlin in 2009, where we left with 13 medals, 7 gold, 4 silver, and 2 bronze. And even with that quality medals, 7 gold, we only scored 136 points. So this team in 2023 outscored the team in Berlin. And that's why I said at the start of our series that this team going to Budapest would have been our best team ever put together for our World Championships. And indeed, our athletes did very well. So I want to say congratulations to all those persons who were involved, all the athletes, and just a great job by the athletes and the officials there. And indeed, we are happy to have been able to witness what we saw from our team. And one of the heroes of athletics, demonstrated also in Budapest, is Lyles. And interestingly, Lyles did an interview with BBC, and I just want to show you this one and get your feedback on it. Here's Lyles.
World champion of what? The United States? You know, why are we not inviting top level athletes to come watch a world championship? You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times. But that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA. We gotta do more. We gotta be presented to the world.
There's Lyles. You know, Lyles has scored some points with me, I must tell you. With that interview, Lyles has really demonstrated his love for the sport and the call of action that we should do more. And in fact, there is quite a bit that can be done, and definitely we want to support Lyles in this and encourage the conversation to continue. That in fact, these are the World Championships, because it's a competition from athletes all around the world, wearing their flags and really just making a huge impact and demonstrating their skill and their competence. So that, I thought, was a really good interview by Lyles, and we applaud him for speaking up and standing up for the sport. Outside of that, there was another thing I want to show you. Behind the scenes, lots of behind the scenes stuff. Here is a call room official just really celebrating with the athletes and just giving them some encouragement as they go out to competition. Those are some really cool things. Keeping the moment light here, that call room official. Can we get this guy a medal? I think we should give this guy a medal. That was indeed fun to see that call room official really just helping the athletes go out there and give their best by just being relaxed and having some fun, keeping the moment light. So a medal for that guy over there in the call room. Maybe we need to see some of this in call rooms in Jamaica, just giving athletes high fives as they go. But we want to big up our athletes who are out there competing today. Lamara Distin in the high jump women, she finished 5th with a height of 1.94 meters, and it's only a matter of time before she breaks into that medal standings. And of course, she was in the finals last year, and for her to repeat, definitely, we're happy for her performance, and we support her, and not just her, but all the jumpers. They did so well at these championships, and we certainly are happy for what they have done. So here it is. Also, Adelle Tracey in the 800 meters for women registered a personal best 1:58.41 in placing 7th in that finals, and she was just smiling the whole way. I mean, did anybody else notice that she's always smiling? Adelle Tracey runs with a smile, and don't great, just smile. And she did a wonderful job. That was a personal best. She'd also registered a personal best in the semifinals, where she clocked 1:58.99. So she's been really running, into great shape, and has demonstrated her best performance right there in these championships. And that's what we want to see from our athletes. Really just giving your best and demonstrating and just showing up. Season's best, personal best. We like to see those definitely in these championships. And then, of course, the 4x4, the greatly anticipated 4x4s for men and women. And the 4x4 men's team that faces starter, lots of conversation about the 4x4 prior to this particular event. And of course, Rasheed McDonald was there. Rashawn Clark, the 40-meter hurdler, was included. Zandrian Barnes and Antonio Watson, the world champion on anchor. Those are the 4 men who were sent out there to do the business. And they, in a disappointing way, finished 4th with a time of 2 minutes 59.34 seconds, which is a little faster than what they did in the prelims, 2:59.82, which is just less than half a second faster. So we made 2 changes, and the team produced half a second faster time than in the heats. But of course, in order for us to have won that particular event, we needed to not just run 0.48 seconds faster, but we need to run 2.52 seconds faster. That's what we'd need to run to beat USA. So when you think of it, between the heats team and the finals team, from the heats team, could we have made changes that would result in the team running 2.5 seconds faster? Can we get 2.5 seconds faster from changes made? I mean, Team USA did actually run, and they ran faster. They won in 2:57.31. A world lead. They had managed 2:58.47 in the prelim, so they ran 1.16 seconds better than they did in the prelim. So they were running, and of course they included Ry Benjamin in that setup as well. And he's a 4-hurdler, so we included a 4-hurdler, they included a 4-hurdler. So there was a change in strategy, it would seem, between the heats and the finals. And of course, when you look at the reaction time, of course it's a 400, and the start is not particularly critical. But this reaction time in the 400 gives you an idea as to the mindset or the thinking of the athlete who is in the blocks. Am I going out? Am I being very cautious? Am I really being aggressive from the start? That's what the reaction time kind of tells us. And Rasheed McDonald seemed to always have these slow reaction times. Slowest, the last out of the blocks in the finals, slowest reaction time, and he was the second to last in terms of reaction time in the prelims. So I mean, that can give you an idea as to what the mindset is of the athletes going into the competition, how they were executing. But not just him, but there was a slightly different approach to the finals team, and I thought it was rather interesting. But let me caution you though that the 4x4 setup is almost always influenced by the coaching philosophy, right? So it's coaching philosophy, and also by the athlete's perception of their level of fitness that would kind of influence how the team is set up and how the team executes. Some coaches feel that we should race from the front, and so we're going to run from the front, so we're going to front load and let them catch us if you can. So, lead off, strong second leg, and so on. It's a race from the start, and that's just one way of doing it. Some coaches believe that you should just set it up based on maximizing each leg. So what's the best split that we can get from this athlete? What's the best split? And when we add up all the splits, what's the time? What's the projected time based on the splits that we can get? So you ask the question, what split can I get from Rasheed McDonald? And what split can I get from him if I put him in the blocks versus if I give him a running start? What split can I get from Rashawn Clark? And so you ask those questions, and then you kind of put it together and see, in fact, what's the best setup based on who runs lead off, who runs the second leg, and so on. The first leg is a mind game. Bear in mind, the first leg is a mind game. Even for someone that runs a flat 400, the first leg is different. The staggers are different. People are further from you, as in the open 400 or the flat 400. And in many cases, you have to run past the finish line to hand over the baton. People who run the 400 just don't like running beyond the finish line. You have to pass the finish line, depending on which lane you're in, to hand off the baton. And so if you're running the race based on a 400-meter track, you get to the top of the straight, coming home, and you think you have 100 meters. No, you don't. You have 130 meters to go. So you have to, how athletes run or execute the lead-off leg is a little different. And so you have to bear that in mind. Not every 40-meter athlete can actually run a good lead-off leg. Not everyone. Because it's just so different. And of course you have to get athletes to volunteer and maybe have to help them through in terms of guiding them through running that lead-off leg. Not all 40-meter hurdlers can help you on a 4x4 relay team. That's the reality. I coach the event, and the objective of the 40-meter hurdles is to run a 40 meters without losing speed because the hurdle is there. So the effort is on the efficiency of the hurdle clearance. And you can actually have very close time for your 4 hurdles to your flat 4, depending on how efficient your hurdle technique is. And the objective and the target is to minimize the loss in speed because the hurdle is there. And that is just the reality. Some people who have very efficient hurdle technique won't have a big difference between their flat 400-meter time and their 40-meter hurdles time. It's not going to be that different. And so you have to be careful which 40-meter hurdler you utilize as part of your strategy going into a 4x4. And that has to be clear. I'd rather us use the 40-meter times, the flat-out speed, to then determine who runs the 4x4. The other thing too is that you have to give clear instructions. I'm not suggesting that clear instructions were not given, right? But you have to give clear instructions to your athletes. And I give you an example. Just how athletes are told in terms of the max effort that is required. The max effort that is required. Sometimes athletes might feel that they just need to win the leg. But winning the leg might not be the only thing that you need to do in order for the team to win. You need to win the leg and give me 10 meters. Give me 10 meters. I need for you to give me a max effort. I need 10 meters. When you hand off the baton, I need 10 meters in order for us to secure the win. So the clear instruction, not just win the leg, but we need to make sure that some of the legs will give us the best time. The other thing for me in terms of 4x4s is that I'm taking my own splits at the prelims. I'm going to the finish line and I'm going to take my own splits, especially because those splits are going to inform the decisions that I make going into the finals, the changes that I'm going to make for the finals. I'm not relying, and we've talked about this, I'm not relying on those World Athletics splits. I am not in any way taking those splits. But it seems as though, based on the difference between the teams for the prelims and the finals, in the prelims, based on the published splits from World Athletics, McDonald ran 44.72, Powell on the second leg 45.04, Barnes on the third leg 44.71, and Anderson on the anchor leg 45.35. So technically, the two slowest splits were from Powell on the second leg and Anderson on the anchor leg. Now, if you watch that race, you know that Javon Powell, who, we're not in the camp, so we don't know how fit to do this, but based on how he executed that second leg, I would just give the guy some different instructions. Javon, we needed to be more aggressive. Go. You're too passive. Right? We've seen him on other relays before doing a much more Herculean job. But I just thought keeping Powell and McDonald would have been a good option going into the finals. Right? Powell certainly could have ran faster than that. And because I don't believe the splits, I'm not necessarily believing that it was as slow as 45.04. I think it was a little faster than that. But of course, Sean Bailey was injured, so he wasn't available. But it seems to me that we missed a medal there, not because we set up the team wrong, but we missed a medal because everyone was at least expecting a medal given the depth that we have at 400 this particular year. I thought we have a great opportunity and we missed a medal there. That, to me, was an OMG moment, almost holding our heads in disbelief that we were fourth. But good effort on the part of the gentlemen who went out there. And of course, on the women's side, the 4x4 women, that one we're hoping to have ended the championship with a gold medal, to hear the national anthem of Jamaica ringing out. But of course that was not to be. In fact, Netherlands took gold, 3 minutes 20.72, and that's a world lead. And Jamaica was silver, second, 3:20.88, season's best. That's because we haven't ran many relays this particular season. So season's best is something that we can't really say much about. So, of course, that relay team was Candice McLeod, Genevieve Russell, Nikisha Price, Stacey Ann Williams. So, Stacey Ann Williams was on anchor. And I just cannot understand why our athletes keep watching the big screen. Why are you watching the screen? The screen is delayed. Whatever you see on the screen has already happened. It's not live. It can't be live. Because by the time they catch a feed and send it out and bring it back around, it's at least a couple seconds delay. So you're in the straight and you look on the screen, you still see yourself on the corner, you're confused, you make a split-second error in terms of your judgment, and whoosh, somebody runs past you. But in this particular case, I just think that in terms of our strategy, we know for sure that Femke Ball was going to be on the ankle leg. She runs no other leg but the ankle leg. Femke Ball would be the person who could race us and run us to the line and beat us. So we work our way back. So Femke Ball, we expect her to have like a 49 low split. 49 low. So if Femke Ball comes through the 49 low split, and we're having Stacey Williams on anchor, Stacey, based on what she did in the mixed relay, split 50.4. So 50.4, 49.1, we need at least a second and a half, close to 2 seconds gap between at the end of the third leg. So if we don't have a second and a half, almost 2 seconds gap at the start of the anchor leg, there is no way we're going to win that. And I saw that once we got the baton, or Stacey got the baton. Nikisha needed to have done a little bit more to give a wider gap. It's not just about winning the leg, it's about giving a max split. So we're not necessarily blaming her, but in fact, the only way we could have won that race is if Williams got the gap that she needed. And of course, that was not to be, and we saw her being run down, Williams that is, run down by Femke Ball, and we settled for the silver, and that of course is much better than the bronze. So we're happy for that. Overall, what do you think? Tell me what your thoughts are about the performance of the 4x4 teams. Drop that comment in the chat and we'll interact with that. But overall, I think that Jamaica did super well in these championships. And congratulations to all the coaches and the managers and the athletes, and just the effort of the people who work together to really make this a wonderful experience for us. We have done a great job parading our nation in front of the world and just showing what we can do. Track and field is one of those things, few things in Jamaica we do very well. And when we can go out there and perform the way that we did, that to me was a great experience, and we are happy for the performance of our athletes over there in Budapest. And of course, we're looking forward to the next one. In fact, on the World Athletics page, there's a countdown to the next World Championships. It says 749 days, 5 hours, 27 minutes, and 3 seconds. They're counting down already. Are you counting down? That one will be in Tokyo in 2025. So already the countdown clock has started, and indeed, we will continue to celebrate the achievements even as we look forward to 2025. But of course, next year is Paris, the Olympics, and our athletes would, in short order, begin to turn their attention to the competition there and, of course, qualifying for that. So stay tuned to our channel here on Technique Lab. We thank you for joining us, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Click that notification bell so that you get the notification when our new videos are uploaded, so that you can be aware of all the various things that we're doing. We'll continue the show, Technique Talk, and of course we'll talk about other things and lots of other things related to the sport, and not just track and field, but for sports in general. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to a great time with you in the future. Enjoy all of this.